In the previous class, we have talked about the stage of childhood. We have already discussed about the physical development, the cognitive development, the motor development of a child during the pre-operational period, that is 2 to 7 years. So there are many important characteristics which defines this period, like egocentrism, animism, centration, which we have already studied about. So in today's class, we will be specifically talking about the concrete operational thought stage, that is from 7 to 11 years of age. Let us begin it in the next slide. So the concrete operational thought. So in this period, what happens is that intuitive thought is replaced by logical thought. So 7 to 11 years is the period, that is your middle to late childhood. So earlier the child did whatever he or she felt like. Okay, so it was more based more on intuition. But this in this period, the child is more logical. Okay, so what happens is that in this period, mental actions that allows the child to do mentally what was done physically before. So in this stage, what happens is that whatever the child did before, even if you do not instruct the child will remember to do it. Okay, so now in school also, if you give the child to do some activity, if he is an 8-year-old child or 9-year-old child, then after few days also he or she will be able to do it, that same activity. But a very young children who is below 7 years of age won't be able to do it. Okay, so this is one main characteristics of concrete operational thought stage, that is your 7 to 11 years. So let us take one example here. Okay, so there was one test done. So in that test, the child is presented with two identical balls of clay. One ball is rolled by experimenter into a long thin strip and the other ball remains in its original shape. On being asked which has more clay, the child of 7 or 8 years would answer that both have the same amount of clay, because the child imagines the ball rolled on into thin strip and then into a ball. That means he or she is able to imagine reversible mental action or concrete or real objects. But a child who is in pre-operational stage, what he or she would have done, he or she would have focused on only one characteristics, that the that strip looks longer, so that has more clay. So a child below 7 years of age would have focused on only one character. But when he or she has grown and is around 7 to 11 years of age, then he or she will be able to distinguish, or they will be able to establish that okay, this also was a ball before, now only they have made it into a thin strip, so they have the same amount of clay. But before the age of 7, there is a confusion and they are unable to distinguish, and they would only be focusing on one characteristics. Okay, so thinking becomes more flexible here. Okay, so they can imagine things, they can reverse things mentally. Okay, so these characteristics grow when they are in concrete operational stage. So intuitive thought is replaced by your logical thought. So now let us look at socio-emotional development. So how children during this stage develop socially and emotionally. Okay, so the important dimensions of children's socio-emotional development are the self, gender and moral development. During the years of childhood, some important developments in the self takes place. The child, due to socialization, has developed a sense of who he or she is, and whom she or he wants to be identified with. So the child will be able to say, I'm a boy or I'm a girl, or if because I'm a girl, I am wearing hairbands or things like that. Okay, the child will able to distinguish. So the developing sense of independence makes children to do things in their own way. According to Erik Erikson, the way parents respond to their self-initiated activities leads to developing a sense of initiative or sense of guilt. So how? So children has to play a lot of role in this. Okay, so if if parents are supporting, then children will have a sense of initiative, and if parents are not supporting, then children may have a sense of guilt as well. Like for example, giving freedom and opportunities for play like cycling, running, skating, etc., and answering children's questions will create a sense of support for the initiative taken. In contrast, if they are made to feel that their questions are useless and games played by them are stupid, the children are likely to develop feelings of guilt over self-initiated activities, which may persist through the children's later life also. So see, now in our adult life also, some people feel really guilty about whatever they do. They are not confident. They think that they always have a self-doubt that if I am doing this, then is it right? Is it going to be right? They are always seeking validation from others. Why this happens? Because as a child, their parents didn't support their self-initiated activities. What are self-initiated activities? Those activities which they start on their own. If they are playing and they are asking their parents that I am playing this, and they seek for validation. A little child will seek for validation, and if as parents, they do not support their actions. If they are playing and they are saying, oh, what rubbish things you are doing, what you are playing, this is not right, then the child will have self doubts. Oh, so I am not doing the correct thing. Children are not like adults. They do not understand complex things. For them, their parents are the whole world. So if their parents say that whatever you are doing is all rubbish, then they will think that okay, this is wrong, I am doing something wrong. So they will develop that sense of self doubt, and this they will carry in their adult life as well. Okay, so lack of confidence, self doubt, all these issues in adults results because of how parents have treated them in their childhood. If their parents have not appreciated their self-initiative activities, then a child in later years of life will develop self-doubt and lack of confidence. Okay, so self-understanding in early childhood is limited to defining oneself through physical characteristics. I am tall, she has black hair, I am a girl, etc. Okay, so this happens in pre-operational stage. Someone who is below 6 years, 5 years, a little child. If you ask that little child to describe himself or herself, then that child will say that, oh, I'm a girl, I have long hair, I have thick hair. So they will only focus on physical attributes. Okay, but when they are in their middle and late childhood, then they will talk about their inner qualities. Okay, like I'm smart, I'm like this, I like this, so I'm popular in class, I feel proud when teachers assign me responsibility in school. So that socio-economic development grows. Okay, they know that they are being appreciated, so they feel good about it. Okay, so this starts happening. Okay, so children's self-understanding also includes social comparison. Children are likely to think about what they can do or cannot do in comparison with others. So there is definitely always competition. Okay, for example, I got more marks than Atul, or I can run faster than others in the class. This development shifts leads to establishing one's differences from others as an individual. So you start feeling that difference. Okay, that okay, I'm different from Atul, or I'm better than Atul in running, or Atul is better than me in English. So all this comparison will come, and you will you will perceive yourself to be different from others in the class. So once the children enter the school, their social world expands beyond their families. They also spend greater amount of time with their age mates or peers. Thus the increased time that children spend with their peers shapes their development. So it is really important that children are exposed to their peers. They connect with their peers, they talk to their peers. So learning cannot just happen in in between four walls. So they have to learn from their peers as well. Peers as in children of the same age group. So now let us talk about moral development. Another important aspect of child's development is learning to differentiate between the rightness or wrongness of human acts. Okay, so now in the society also we talk about that, oh, this is morally correct, this is morally incorrect. So all these development starts taking place in the concrete operational stage. A child before that age will really not know from their own what is right or what is wrong. Okay, they would just listen to their parents, but by the time they are in this concrete operational stage, they will start understanding, okay, that this is wrong because of this, or that is right because of this. Okay, so just as children pass through the various stages of cognitive development, according to Lawrence Kohlberg, they pass through the various stages of moral development. Okay, so Lawrence Kohlberg has given stages of moral development. So it is not there in details here, so I will not be talking about it in details, but whatever is there, let us look at those important points. So Kohlberg interviewed children in which they were presented with stories in which the characters face moral dilemmas. Children were asked what the characters in the dilemma should do and why. According to him, children approach thinking about right and wrong differently at different ages. The young child, that is before 9 years of age, thinks in terms of external authority. According to him or her, actions are wrong because he or she is punished, and right because he or she is rewarded. As the child grows, that is by early adolescence, he or she develops moral reasoning through set of rules of others, such as parents or laws of society. These rules are accepted by the children as their own. These are internalized in order to be virtuous and win approval from others, not to avoid punishment. Okay, so what happens is that before the age of 9, if the child is saying that this is right or this is wrong, it is because of their parents thought. Okay, because they think that if I if I spill a glass of milk, then my parents are going to scold me, or if I finish my homework in time, then my parents are going to reward me. Okay, so that's how a child before 9 years will think. The concept of right or wrong is limited to that only. But as the child grows into early adolescence, from like after the age of 9 to 12 years, so during this period of time, they have their own moral reasoning. They will internalize this set of moral rules given by the society. Okay, they will not externalize it. If I am not doing something, then I will think that these are my moral rules or my moral values. This is how I think, so this is wrong because I think this way. These are my moral values or thinking. Okay, so the child will start internalizing those moral values given by the society. Okay, so they follow these moral values and rules, not to avoid punishment but to get approval from others. There are so many things we don't do in public or in front of people because we don't want to be an outcast, because there are set rules, because other people will not feel good. Okay, so and we internalize those set of rules, so because we want approval from others. Okay, so this happens. So in your middle to late childhood, these things starts developing. Okay, so in the next slide, let us look at stages of development given by Piaget. So these are the stages of cognitive development given by Jean Piaget. So the first stage is sensory motor stage. The approximate age is 0 to 2 years, and the characteristics are that infant explores the world by coordinating sensory experience with physical experiences. So if you see a child who is below 2 years of age, the child will look at something, that child will touch it, feel it, grab it, grasp it, put it in the mouth. Okay, so the sensory experiences are done by physical actions. But as you grow old, a child will not be touching, feeling everything that they see, but a child below 2 years will do that. Then comes your pre-operational stage, that is from 2 to 7 years of age, where symbolic thought develops, object permanence is established. The child cannot coordinate different physical attributes of an object. So like we already studied, that this is the pre-operational stage, and there are so many limited things. Okay, the child develops symbolic thoughts. If they are asked that which one of these is a tree, they will able to tell you this is a tree, this is a table, like that. Okay, object permanence is also established. It's not out of sight, out of mind, like a baby. If you put a glass of water in front of a child and then hide it, the child will know that okay, the glass of water has been hidden. So object permanence is developed. Okay, so these things are developed between 2 to 7 years of age. Then comes your concrete operational stage, that is 7 to 11 years of age. So the child can reason logically about concrete events and classify objects into different sets, and is able to perform versatile mental operations on representation of objects. So I already gave an example that if there are two balls of clay, and while one ball of clay has been made into a thin strip, then also the child will be able to tell that both the balls have the same amount of clay. Okay, because they are able to reason logically, they are able to classify objects. At this stage, they are also able to tell you the difference between this is a set of vegetables, this is a set of fruits. So they are able to differentiate between different physical attributes. Like fruits, we can eat just like that. Okay, but vegetables we have to cook. So they will know that these are the physical attributes of these kind of things, and these are the physical attributes of these kind of things. So they are able to distinguish between things and are able to classify objects into different sets. Okay, so now comes the stage of formal operational, that is 11 to 15 years of age. So the adolescent can apply logic more abstractly, hypothetical thinking develops. Okay, so this is the stage that you just have crossed. I'm sure you all are like 16 to 17 years of age. So now you are able to think in abstract ways, you are able to reason things. Okay, so we will be studying about this stage later on in details. Okay, as of now this is enough. Okay, so this is for today's class. Go through it. If there is any question, do ask.